Hey everyone, this is Jesse here at Jesse Lee Strength and Fitness. Today I'm going to give you a demonstration of how to use the Aletha Ball to release your psoas. So your psoas complex. This comes from a woman, her name is Christine Koth. She's written this book called Tight Hip Twisted Core. And in it she kind of describes the pelvis and the pelvic position. And you've got these two big old sides of your pelvis, the ilium, and you've got the iliacus and the psoas muscle that are part of this kind of trunk and lower leg connection. So that muscle, the psoas and the iliacus, are a big part of that process. I won't go in too much on the anatomy, but the psoas connects on the deep through the back into the lower lumbar and then comes down in through and attaches across to the top of the femur. So those are laterally, typically involved in knee flexion exercises, so something like that. Also from external rotation and some other options. But the point of this is using this ball, using it in your abdomen, we can get access through the front side of the belly into that iliopsoas and get some release. So if you've ever had a massage therapist or somebody work on your psoas, they typically dig their hands into your guts and have you do a release, typically by activating the glute. So we're going to utilize that kind of style with this ball to release the psoas. And why would you release it? Well, typically it's pretty tight. We sit in flexed positions all the time. The psoas gets short. It can get tight. It can pull us then into some type of extended position. So we got a concave look here and we get low back pain, those types of things. So also if you've had injury on one side or the other, whereas for me, I've had injury on this right side through a broken foot and some other issues. So I like to release the psoas. Honestly, before I work out, I typically do. I do some foam rolling and then I use this and then I do some glute activation. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. And let's just start with the application. So I've got my belly button here. I've got my rib cage here. Basically, if I want to treat my right psoas, I'm going to put it in basically that spot in my abdomen, and then I'm going to lay on it. So let me give you a long version here. So I'm going to get into my basically sphinx. I'm going to place the ball. I'm going to go ahead and just slowly but surely rest onto the ball, using my hands for a cradle for my head, elbows for support. And then I'm going to start doing these little light heel lifts. And I can feel that ball in there touching through to the backside of that psoas muscle. And it's tight today. I did a lot of yard work. And man, it's tight. So I'm going to go ahead and rest a little deeper. And then I'm going to try to basically lift my knee off the ground. Going into hip extension, I'm going to activate my glute. And I just do these as I work down slightly, going just about my waistline and then stopping. Okay. And then I put it just on the inside of my iliacus, which is right there on the inside of your ilium, which is that pelvic bone, like that big roundish shaped guy. And I just kind of have that on the inside, so it's kind of pulling it out. That feels really good to kind of just get a little release. Okay, so that was my right side. I typically do that for a while. If you're just starting this, it might take you a while to get that that psoas to release. Okay, so that was the right side. I'm going to go ahead and treat the left side. Same thing, below my ribs, to the left of my belly button. Left side doesn't appear to be as tight. A little bit though. Just kind of rest onto it. You'll feel it kind of go back through your guts a little bit. Stretch that quad a little bit. Extend the hip. Maybe it's a little tighter than I thought. I like to push until I can actually feel the glute fire. Then I'm going to do that Iliacus. That feels pretty good. Okay, and finally, I'm going to hit the outside of my hip, the piriformis, and just work around the head of my femur. Just trying to release all the muscles around my glute. Okay, that's the right side. I'll show you here on the left side. Basically, I'm just sitting on the ball, letting that leg kind of hang out that I'm treating. The left side feels great. So now if you kind of imagine, I've released the psoas, released the glutes. And so now I'm just going to do basically what we call a hip reset drill. So I'll show you here from this side. I'm going to go ahead and lay on my back. I'm going to elevate my feet. I'm going to take my fist in between my knees and just give it a light squeeze. Okay? And then I'm going to take my hands outside my knees. I'm going to press. And then I'm going to come back in and squeeze. Basically, the idea here is just kind of resetting the hips into a kind of a neutral position. Then I'm going to place my feet firmly on the ground. I'm going to do a few bridges. I'll get into the side position here. A few bridges. I like to keep my chin packed for these. Otherwise, you end up flaring your rib cage and overextending your lumbar. No good. And then I might do a single leg hold, activate my glute. Okay. And then at the end of those, I typically would just hang out in maybe some kind of cobra position. So now I've got a bunch of great sensations in my hips. I've released all these the deep psoas muscles. I've activated my glutes. I've released the hips. My hips are balanced and square. So obviously, you'll have to pick up one of these. It's called Aletha, Aletha Ball. It's a great way to release the psoas, release the hips, and keeping feeling good. It's definitely a major part of this whole world is to the mobility and the strength aspects. So I hope that helps you. Please let me know if you have any questions. Please like, subscribe, or share.